Well, what's the crack, everybody? How are you getting on? You're all very welcome to episode 145 for Buckshot. Today's Friday, the 22nd of May, 2020. How are you getting on? You alright? You're rolling over into the weekend nicely, are you? Or do you even know it's the weekend? Am I your only point of reference when it comes to dates these days? I'm putting this one out a little later, just a little bit of experiment. I wanted to get it out earlier to the Patreons, but I actually only got the recording. We're supposed to do it on Wednesday, and Phil had a bunch of stuff, and his internet situation is shocking, so we didn't actually get it recorded until yesterday. So it's go out a little bit earlier to the Patreons, but it'll go out a little bit later than usual. Just an experiment, just to see, because I'll tell you why. Because another day, it's from a bunch of different countries, essentially. It seems to be jumping on of late. Out of boredom, I don't know, or just curiosity. They seem to be jumping on from different countries, so just to see what way it feeds out, because Irish people, you're going to listen to it whenever you want to listen to it. Nobody's really travelling to work at the minute, so yeah, just a bit of an experiment, you know what I mean? But we're here, it's Friday, we're here, we're out. My thanks very much to new Patrons on board. Tara, good old Tara. I'm not going to slag you off, because no, I'm not. She's good crack, big comedy supporter. Fair play to Tara, and good on you, Will. Sound out. He was airbrushing, send me pictures. That's the stuff. Send me on them pictures. I need to be knowing what you're doing while listening to the podcast. So I'll put some actual context to a man in a darkened room by himself talking into a microphone. Send me on that stuff. Send it on to any of the platforms, really. Instagram, Chatty Snaps. I think it's Tom Bayer O'Mahony. The rest are Tom O'Mahony comedy. Or long form. I've been getting emails. I like to reply to the emails too. So send them over to bookshotpodcast@gmail.com. Or, you'll find a way. If you type in Tom O'Mahony, you'll find a way to contact me some which way. So feel free. Good on you. Nice one. So this, I am going to do a Royal Ramble this week. This Sunday night, this 8 p.m. So it's the usual platforms to jump onto. If you want to go on from anywhere else, people seem to be enjoying commenting from, I don't know, was it because we collect them all in the one spot, because it's up on Twitter, it's up on Facebook, and it's up on YouTube. And people just commenting on my moustache. Nothing to do with the subjects at all. But it is on Get Vocal as well. So it is an open platform. So jump on in there. I'm leaving it open for the time being, but it will become purely Patreon. The idea being is that you want to show people that what the crack can be. But all the rest, the idea being is to fucking, make a few quid. And, throw some money at this thing. Because the lighting is on the way. They have shipped it. So it should be here to the middle of end next week, so that'll sharpen up the views. Thank Christ we have the new internet coming today. I'm just watching the phone here, just going, when's that fucker going to ring? It's like a kid at Christmas, just waiting on the brand new internet. They're bringing a big wheelbarrow. They're going to wheelbarrow the internet up the driveway here and just pour it in the back door. And we'll have any amount of it we need for high quality stuff going out. So expect a lot more online content from me that way. So like I said, the Royal Ramble will migrate over purely for Patreon, so that, those people, you gotta wet those people's beak. Thank them. Say thanks very much. You will also have an exclusive view to what myself and Gordo have been up to work-wise, not just weirdness following us to the toilet and stuff like that. I mean, in that, I was telling you last week, we have a new show in the pipeline. You'll get the first exclusive. We're doing a little bit of rehearsal and stuff like that, and just working out the kinks, the technical kinks, that because there's a few of us going to be all involved. So you can jump on, have a gander, see what's coming up. Get a little look behind the old curtain there. That's purely going to be for Patreon. So if you want to support the show and get a little bit of a kickback for yourself, go become a Patreon to Buckshot Podcast. Tom O'Mahony Buckshot Patreon. You'll see it in the show notes below. Anyway, right, getting away from that. Thank you very much to everybody who continues to contribute and make the show an actual thing. Have we anything else? No, I think we're good. Oh, subscribe if it's your first time. If it's your first time for listening, do subscribe. Because you know what? It helps. Because you might get an old taste for it and go, I want to become a Patreon. There you go, or buy some merch. Or just at the very least, share it on whatever social platform you're listening to. Now, getting all the housework out of the way, on over to our guest today. I say our guest because Phil is everybody's, really. He's that kind of a bloke. He's possibly the most gentle soul you'll ever meet, and while mixed in the giant Kenwood mixer at 250 RPM per second lunatic that is Phil Nichol. If you've never come across Phil Nichol, what have you been doing with your life? He's one of the best live performers you'll ever come across. Next time he does play in Ireland, you have to go see him. Just look him up on YouTube. I'm going to put the clip of an episode of the Graham Norton show that he was on. I'm going to put a clip of that in the show notes below because we talk about it in the show. And oh my sweet suffering Jesus, there is nothing this man togged off naked on a comedian's version of The Weakest Link. It was a televised Weakest Link show, and they had all stand-up comics on. And when he got voted off or had to leave, he stripped entirely fucking naked and walked off. Like, that's the level of lunatic. But the loveliest man you'll ever meet. We hung out for a couple of days, 2018, during the Galway Comedy Festival, and that's how we got to know each other. We've stayed roughly in contact since. He does a lot of stuff in the West End. He's an absolute gentleman. Sit back and relax and enjoy the amazing Phil Nichol.
Hello! Hiya, Tom. I'm eating a fruit pastel.
I wish I was having a fruit pastel right now. I fucking love them.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, thank you very much. Cheers.
If you could just pull a fruit pastel out of the air, that'd be great.
If I could do that, I'd be a millionaire.
And they're really nice. They're really nice. They're really nice fruit pastels. You know when you get them when they're new.
Yes.
Not the old, not the hard ones, but they're brand new.
No, I really want to go out and get fruit pastels.
Well, you can go out and get one after.
Yeah. You have the exact same beard situation as me, where you've these white tips coming down here like a walrus.
I used to be upset about it, then I realized it actually means it creates a chin. You don't get the double chin, so it's actually working. As long as I smile, it looks like I've got a chin.
Dashingly handsome.
Thank you very much. So here we are. What's up? What's going on with you? How is life?
It's good. It's good. I've become a father since I met you last.
Yes. Oh, amazing. I think I saw you online there. When did it happen?
He is 8 months. So it was last August. Last August it happened. So he's a very easygoing child. He's ridiculously easygoing. He sleeps 12 hours a night. So it's like,
you got to rub that into every parent you ever meet ever.
Every single one. The backlash I was actually getting was, I was doing a bit about, how, I don't know what your fucking issue is, but the backlash I was getting was off like mid-30-year-old women going, seriously? Is he?
Yeah.
Does he? And they were so bitchy towards me.
Yeah, they don't believe you as well. I got a friend of mine who just had a baby, and she said the baby is, for the first time ever, has slept the whole night through. And she's like, I now know what heroin addicts go through. I can't wait to have that feeling again. And it's just like, I don't have children, so that's a nice one. That was a black cherry one.
Oh,
like a black.
I could have done. I was doing fine when you showed me the yellow one and the green one. I see going into your mouth, but as soon as the black one went in, I was like, Jesus!
And then that one to finish off, so good.
This is fucking torture watching that.
The thing is, I'll finish that off and then we can. So what do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about your top 5 fruity gum sweets. Top 5.
I like a Frutella.
Natural.
I like
fruits.
a Frutella, but I don't mind having one of those. What are they called? The meoms, the European style one. They're a bit more waxy.
Yeah, I don't know what to call them. Is it meoms? Yeah.
Meoms. MAOM, isn't it? Meom.
Yum.
Yum.
Yeah, there you go.
So meoms. No, but Frutellas, and I don't like the mixed Frutella because there's always the odd one in there. You go, what is watermelon flavor? I like the ones I like strawberry or berry flavors.
Yeah.
Frutella. What other kind of? I like. Obviously, I'm eating the one my favorite, which is the scraps of it there. There you go. Although I do like a fruit gum. I do like the same companies. They do the fruit gum is a wine gum. Like the wine gum.
The hard little round ones or proper wine gums in the bag.
No, I'm talking about wine gums. I'm talking about what's the name of the company that makes the who am I of? We should have prepared me for this, but the company
Maynards
Who
or
is it that makes
Bassett's?
Who
Is
makes
it
it?
Bassett's or Maynards?
Bassets. So the Bassets are the wine gums that come in the different shapes.
Yeah.
They have to be. They're my favorite. However, I have been chewing a lot. There's a shop downstairs. I live above a shop, and they do those little they're called Buzz, and they're like 39p or 3 for a pound, and they're like little tiny packets where you get like maybe 12 or 13 of them. And they have one in there that is a sour licorice chew with a sweet center,
Ooh.
with like a licorice, like a filled licorice. That's a good one. That's not really fruit, but it gets some fruit.
I'm in agreement with you about the wine gums, but do you know what? I get so disappointed every so often. I'll go for like a cheap brand, and there's so many cowboys out there, Phil. They should be outlawed.
They should be outlawed. It's like buying liquors, all sorts that aren't Bassett's. You're just setting yourself up for a fall.
You're buying a pig in a bag, Phil.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I eat them because I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sooner they're out of the way, the better. What have I been eating sweet-wise recently, though? I've had some of those. Oh, these Buzz ones. They're called Buzz. I think that's quite funny, actually. One of my ex-girlfriend's mother's nickname was Buzz. No explanation, just her 60-year-old mum, Buzz. Anyway, wonder what Buzz enjoyed doing when she was young. Anyway, fingers on buzzers. So these Buzz candies caught my eye, and they've got there's about 30 different types.
Mm.
And what's the other one they do? They do a pinball, which is just the little hard on the outside, chewy, and they're so tangy, they're so sugary, they're tangy.
I think I know the ones you're on about. Yeah,
they've got strawberries and cream. They've got these little soft. They're almost not really even food. Like the texture is like a hard fish's eyeball.
Are those the squishies you're talking about?
The squishies, but no, squishies. No, squishies. Oh, I do like the drumstick.
Yes.
That is a flavor that I will never go off of, and they've started making squishies, drumstick flavored squishies, which I can't abide because they don't really have you need to have the stick. That moment where you wrench the stick out, you've got the hole in it, and you're gone. You're away. You're free of any reality. You're flying through the field of sweet. Then nothing is going to stop it from going down your gullet. It's just an amazing feeling. The buzz you get from that, not to mention the sugar rush. Fantastic.
I've mistakenly got a car air freshener the other day in the petrol station in a moment of quarantine, and it's drumstick scented. I haven't put it in the car yet, but it's like
that is amazing. It's amazing that they've got a sweet that smells as good as it tastes.
But is it going to drive me insane?
Who knows? If the next time I see you, is the boy at sweet level yet? Is he sweeties yet?
No, not yet. At 8 months,
too young for sweets.
Yeah, the addiction.
I'm sure my mother had a lollipop in my gob at 8 months. Knowing my family, my family's Scottish, Tom.
Yeah,
my mother and father are working class people from Glasgow. Good people. And I was born with a lollipop in my mouth, man. So the only way you can get me to shut up. I heard another funny thing. Speaking of sweets, is one of my funniest phrases I've heard in a long time from an English woman. She said, we were talking about flirting with a man, and then when you meet someone and you want to keep them on the go, she said, never give the baby the candy. That's how you keep a man alive. Keep a man on the go. You never give the baby the candy. So, and I think that's really cruel. Have you ever done that to a child? Go, look, here's a lollipop, and then can't have it. No.
Yeah, but that's only a sociopath could do that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'd have the ability if I showed the kid the sweet. Either I'd eat it myself, or But I don't know if I could. Yeah. Show the baby the candy and then put it back in my pocket. I couldn't fucking do it.
No, it just shows you the heartlessness of the female of the species.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. That's what they do to us poor gentlemen. They have the candy and like little babies going, please give me the candy, mommy. And they're like, no, you can see the candy, but you can't have the candy. No, mommy, I want the candy, mommy. That's my what I become. But you're in a long term relationship. You don't even you guys eat like carrots. You don't mess about. You don't need
The
to flirt
metaphors,
with each other
the
anymore.
metaphors flying around here are fantastic, aren't they? You
It's
two
great, isn't it? Well, I don't know.
are vegans right now, sharing a plate of carrots. Yeah, if you know what I mean.
You are, and you have one, and she has one, and you have one, and she has one, and if there's an odd number, you split it, and if you're lucky, you get the big end. So how's that for a euphemism?
I have no idea what that means, but I like it.
I have no idea either. I just all this I tell you what's happened is I've just had a sugar rush from from the sweets, from the fruit pastels I've just eaten. Oh, they are good.
I'm so glad I caught you on the upswing of your sugar rush.
Exactly. Well, how long is this podcast? By the end, it'll be like, fuck them. I need more. You see, kids, it really affects them. There's a lovely clip online that the comedian Mark Nelson, the Scottish comedian, posted, and it's of two wee boys, a wee ginger Scottish boy in his backyard, and they're having Lucasade. Looks like they've got a bottle between the two of them. Have you seen it?
It's brilliant.
One of the things I like, because I love watching human behavior, is the one little boy is quite happy to share it.
Yeah.
But the other little boy who's howling with laughter, when he realizes that it's empty, and he tries to empty it onto his shirt, which is such a dumb thing to do. But he says he's so angry. He's just see him. He's about to go off. I bet they cut that video off just before he leathers the other little Scottish boy, because you've drunk all me, Lucas age. Just high, the most lovely way. Cut to 25 years later, and they're at Glastonbury, off their tits on each other's shoulders.
Growing up in your household, was Lucasade did it have medicinal properties?
Well, now, I think all fizzy drinks at that point, Coca-Cola being the original, with actual cocaine in it, being one of the original.
Is that true? Because I've heard it, but I was
Yeah.
like, is that actually true? It had cocaine in it.
Yeah, it had cocaine in it. And they replaced coca from the coca leaves, gave you that. So they replaced the cocaine with caffeine, which gives you the same. Well, it doesn't give you the same hit. Not ever remember someone taking a line of caffeine and talking about themselves for an hour. But you take a line of caffeine and get down to work. It's a nasty drug, the old caffeine. Anyway, this is true. All those drugs, all those amphetamine-based things, and ephedrine is another one.
Oh yeah.
That to awaken it, they used to put in cough syrup so you could stay awake at work. So if you take the medicine, you didn't get all hazy. You want to hear an interesting story? How they discovered ephedrine as a drug? It's a root. It's a naturally occurring root, ephedrine. You can chew it, the ephedrine root, and it gives you the same effect, similar to chewing cocoa leaves. Not quite as strong. So what the North American Indians used to do is the way that they would tame a horse. So what we would do is we'd break horses. We would ride them around in a circle and climb on top and break them. But the North American Indians would ride saddleless, so they couldn't do this. So what they would do is the braves would find a young foal, see a young foal, and they would chase it. Now, over the long distance, the horse is faster than the human being, up till about the 21-mile mark, because the horse doesn't have the sweat glands, right? So if a horse runs for that long, it sweats itself out and it has to stop. So what the braves would do is they would chase the horse for the 21 miles, and they'd run it down, and they'd have to keep up, so they'd have to really be moving at its pace, and they get to it. But instead of getting the horse when it was there, because the minute they went to get on it, the horse would take off again after it had a little breather. So what they do is they chew ephedrine, and they chase it, let it stop, chase it, let it stop, take them up to maybe 24 hours of running after this horse. The horse would be so exhausted by the end of it that the first brave that got to the horse was able to walk up to the horse, grab its neck, and put himself on top of it. And from that point on, the horse was mastered by that brave, thanks to the ephedrine. And that's how they discovered ephedrine as a drug.
Imagine what shape you'd be in after that, though. After you come down, woo, you need some time by yourself.
Well, there is. Yeah, well, there's a reason they scalp people. I was thinking, because you probably would suffer somehow. I imagine that one of the things we've lost in time is in the alchemy of the sort of more tribal cultures, is they probably was something that they would do to counteract the effects of a come down. They probably know if the Braves went out on a horse chase on the ephedrine that there would be they'd come home and take a magic mushroom stew or something like that, calm them down.
Oh, for sure. They guaranteed you lick the end of a celery stick or something, it'll probably sort you right out. That we've absolutely forgotten.
Yeah, that's it. Probably get a little box of frogs to lick to sup on the way back from your as you're riding your horse back. I don't know much about North American culture. I had a thought and I can't remember it now. Oh, we were talking about candies and sweets, and licorice is the same as it doesn't have the effect of licorice. The effect of licorice is, of course, it's a diuretic, and it makes you poo, doesn't it? It's like a laxative. It's like a laxative. It's really good for your digestion. Licorice. And when we used to go in Canada, we used to go to Pioneer Village. I don't know if you have those in Ireland. Oh yeah, Sligo. It's like just an old village that hasn't changed in many years.
The whole county of Sligo.
The whole county of Sligo is like a pioneer village where people pretend to be from the 18th century. So the gift shop afterwards, and you get maple syrup treats, because maple syrup. They'd show you how they'd make maple syrup candies and stuff, and in the olden days. And one of the things they had is they used to have the root of the licorice root, which is really just a tree root. That tastes a bit. I put aniseed in, but then a licorice, then a black seam of licorice down the middle. That was not sweet licorice like you get in lovely shops now, but that kind of tart. I really loved that. You could chew all the way home in the car, and I realized after years it's just a way of my parents keeping me quiet.
And then fill a stick.
Give them a rock give them the quiet rock, because they couldn't afford real food. Like, have them suck on that stone, Ethel. Yeah, fill up the sucking stone.
Yeah, I was just going to say, where did we leave that sucking stone? Fuck it, this one.
Exactly. They wonder why the Scottish have bad teeth. It's all the sucking stone.
Welcome, Phil Nichol, to the podcast.
then you get your dandelion and burdock. You get your, that's a very Scottish drink as well. I don't know if you have that one.
It's got very wanky with wanky gin bars and stuff. They're all sticking it in.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I was going to say it was the old bars, Iron Brew. Bars do an old dandelion and burdock, which is an interesting flavor if you've never had it. But if you put a bit of vodka in it, it's very, very quaffable drink.
Quaffable. That's a description of a drink that's a description that should be used far more of drinks. Just quaffable. How is the drink? Quaffable. It's fucking quaffable, I can tell you.
Quaffable. It's quaffable. I've quaffed a number of these already today. Guinness, certainly a quaffable drink.
The last time I saw you, it was Galway, wasn't it? The last time we
I was there for the big wedding.
Yes. Beginning of the festival.
We're both trying to remember who it was. Who got married again? It was one of those weddings. Who was married? Well, they obviously love one another. So
yes,
it was the beginning of the festival, of the Galway festival. Sadly, that I hope is going to happen again this year. Do you think?
I don't think so. It's looking like it won't, because of just too many acts to book flights for and stuff like that. Unless they have some sort of homegrown thing that they can just spring up. But I don't think he wants to half-arse it. Unfortunately. But the problem being is the unknown. Is that we don't know, will we be allowed to have people in amongst each other by October?
Yes, I mean, there's talk here in Britain, because the British government's mental, about opening up the pubs as early as July, and you're like, are you? I mean, okay. I mean, I don't think we can see comedy gigs going ahead, but if they open the pubs, it's going to be mayhem.
Yeah, like there's talks that by the middle of next month, restaurants will be able to open limited opening. So, of course, all the bars that have restaurant licenses are changing their title basically to, this is O'Brien's Restaurant, So they reckon half the fucking pubs are going to open as restaurants now and serve sandwiches. As
Sure, exactly. Guinness soup. Have a bowl of lovely Guinness soup.
In this tall, clear bowl. Yeah.
I love how people get around they use any excuse whatsoever to get around it. But, we'll see. I mean, we're both performers. the sooner we can get ourselves together inside to have a laugh, the better for me. But yeah, I think I'm sort of one of those more. I'm a very kind of lefty person, and I think we should be thinking we should still have to concentrate on the vulnerable and the elderly and make sure that we don't put them in harm's way. So the less that we move, the more that we stay at home. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe it's 5G, and you can call me an idiot, but there's been no evidence that the nanotechnology. I mean, if they wanted to do it, they could put it in sweets. They could put it in anything. I said to a friend of mine, "Oh, they're going to put nanotechnology in your body. Why don't they just put it in the water system?" And he went, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Yeah, what do you mean? Why didn't they give it to you in the vaccine you had as a child then?" I mean, it's just the whole thing's mad. The people I do love a good conspiracy theory, but I think the best thing we do is to be smart. And it's even if it ends up that not as many people pass away as we were expecting, that's a good thing. And also, it's not going to be the last time we see a flu or a coronavirus, maybe even in our lifetime, that could be stronger and have even more of an effect. So ideally, it'll be years. I love Galway, by the way. I love Galway. And did you and I drive up to? Did we drive to Belfast? I
We
can't
did a
remember
couple
what
of
it was
drives
now.
together. We went to Limerick,
Yeah,
and we went to Belfast
Limerick.
together. Yeah.
That's right. We did Limerick with Carl Spain, who I just performed with on the Roisin Dub show this past weekend. Love Carl Spain. Is he okay? He doesn't look well. Anyway, he looks.
But I'll never forget you
Oh,
did the best. You're amazing with accents, anyway. Because obviously, growing up in two different places, you grew up in Scotland, strong accent.
yeah,
Growing up then in Canada,
yeah,
completely different accent. But
yeah.
you did the best version. You did. It was so fucking intricate. Your Irish accent that you did. You were able to.
Jesus.
You were able to pinpoint the racist accent that people try to do in other countries of the Irish accent. You were able to show me exactly the person in Cork who everybody's
Cork,
accent.
that's right there. That's what we're talking about, boy. No. I warmed up into it in the car, so now I'm going to be embarrassed. And you're going to get letters written. How dare that Canadian try and do our accent, boy?
Trust me,
I tell you what that is.
he did it. He nailed it.
We
He
start
nailed it.
talking down there, and you're going, you just come here now.
And that's the accent that
Oh,
everybody tries to do. And I was always going,
that's
there
what
is
it
no
is.
such accent.
There
And
is
then
no such accent there.
you did somebody's, a certain person's accent from Cork, a specific person from Cork, who we both know well. And it
You won't know.
on the money. You nailed it. It was like, oh fuck, that is the accent that everybody does. Is his accent.
I know, because I think I've got this theory that with the Irish accent, that people play up to. They like the sound of their accents. I get the same thing with Scousers and the same thing with Glaswegians. If you can, when they speak to me and they hear that I'm North American, they'll give me like a more general, like easy to listen to version of
Sean
their
Connery,
accent.
actually. Sean Connery, Scottish.
Sean Connery, like, yeah, it's whatever, whatever, just trying to get, just so you understand what I'm saying there, like. But then if you're talking, when they get to have a few drinks and you're talking to other people there, like, you really play, I think you almost do it for each other. I bet it's like the cows from the Gary Larson's cartoons. I think you act more like cows when there's a car around. You just to show off that we don't understand you. Didn't he fell for that?
It is, yeah. It definitely. But I know the Scottish love their one, because even you'll see. I have Scottish friends who write phonetically in their accent. It's like, come on, man,
Yes.
that isn't even in
Yes.
your phone to write like that. Your phone will do predictive text. You're writing in your own accent phonetically. You love yourself that much. Scottish people, especially Glaswegians, they know. Actually, the only Scottish people I'm friends with are Glaswegians, but they know they're funny as shit when they speak.
They do, and they play it up, and they love the slang of it. My mother, who's been in Canada 40 plus years now, still loves to pull out a bit of Scottish slang like, away you go, you're a skelly wee monkey, you're a bums, give me the bums rush, she just comes up with all these, snib the door on the way out, snib the door, snib the door. Means obviously lock the door, but she snib the door, snib it. And she just loves this. She just loves. It's like, I guess, Cockneys like their slang. Glaswegians love their turn of phrase, and you're right. They do spell. A friend of mine from Edinburgh, Mark Taylor, writes nay, Nae.
Yeah.
I guess it could be its own language. I think the Irish and rightly so. They're quite a tribal country. If only because I've travelled around Ireland,
Mm.
the amount that I have, that I understand the difference. That there is, you can say County Sligo and everyone goes, oh, it's like a countrywide punchline. When I do a voice from Cork, you're going to go, oh, that's the Cork guy. And I think that just comes from traveling. But the Irish are so proud and so defined in their tribes that it makes it easier.
Quite literally changes 15 miles of a difference. Like, I remember as a child, it was secondary school, high school, and my friend, they're from like 15, 16 miles away. And I'd never met his parents, whatever. And they said, hey, sleepover, stay, we'll come collect you. It's like, great, okay. And I sat directly behind his father in the car, in the back seat.
Right.
And I did not understand a single fucking word that man said the entire journey. And that's 16 miles away. It was the entire, and because I sat right behind him, I couldn't see his lips moving, so I couldn't even guess what he was saying. So it was continuously like this.
There's this weird thing that happens it's not just the Irish, but it's all Celtic. This is only a theory of mine, but the Scots do it, the Welsh do it, and certain parts of South West England where there's a guttural sound. Where the sound comes from is somewhere out the back of your head, and Scottish people do it like that. And Irish people, there's a certain. It sounds like it's coming out, not out of your mouth, but out of your it's like a singing through water. And I think it's just I'm really interested when I hear that accent, and it happens with women as well. They get that kind of something. I can't even do it now. I'm trying to think. Jerry Mallon, if anyone in the podcast knows you. Jerry Mallon is the example I would use of it's always like he's not the one doing the talking. There's someone else moving. There's someone else moving his lips and pushing the sound through them.
How you feel? How you getting on, Phil? Good to see you. Good to see you.
How are you doing?
Still at the same Right, see you around. Good luck. And he's gone.
So right. These are the first time that these words have left my mouth. Anyway. I've never used these words before, so it's kind of, they're unclear. They're not really clear to me. I'm not really sure what I mean. But speaking of tribes in Ireland, I did a show in Letterkenny. I was doing a tour of my Nearly Gay show, and I did Armagh and Omagh and Derry and Letterkenny, and I can't remember. There's another small theatre there with the Gaelic name. Anyway. I did not know this because my family and I was raised my mom and dad are from Glasgow, as I said, and they're kind of devout born again Christians. So I ran away from home at 17, and I never really learned what my family history was.
Right.
I've got two older brothers, Andrew and Stephen, and Andrew is the middle brother. He's got long ginger hair and a big ginger beard. He's a fully freckled, he's a full-on Scottish, got like greeny blue eyes, and he's a full-on Scottish-looking man. He's a great big fella, big hefty fella, and but he's got a Canadian accent. And he used to ride motorcycles around. Now, I walked into Letterkenny, and I think I might have been, I don't know who, I can't remember who had put the gig on, but I was with the promoter, and we got out of the car at the parking lot. We were walking towards the hotel, and they were at the pub. Outside the pub, my brother was sitting there. My brother Andrew was sitting. I was like, oh, what the hell? I was like, Andy. And I yelled to him, and he didn't look up. I said, Andy. And I put my guitar down, and I ran up to I'm like, Andy, what the? And this guy looked up, spit of my brother, like to fool me even. And he went, there's no Andy here, I'm afraid. I was like, you just look like you look exactly like my brother. And this guy went, well, he must be a very good looking man then.
Yeah.
This guy's name was David, which is also my brother's middle name. So David, this guy looked the spit of my brother. So this is pre-camera phones and everything, so I couldn't videotape him. I just walked away and rang my dad on the old Nokia and said, Dad, you won't believe what's just happened. I've been walking through Letterkenny, and Andrew's been sitting there. And my dad said, oh, well, your mother's mother was from Letterkenny. And I was like, what? He said, your mother, never knew this. Your mother's from Letterkenny. My mother's father was from about 10 miles up the road there. And they were, the families knew each other because they were beet pickers. They used to go over to Glasgow and pick beets. And some of them would stay in Glasgow. They'd meet men and they'd stay there, and that's how my father ended up being born in Clydebank, and my mother ended up being born in Partick. Two different people. They didn't know each other, but so my family are from like 10 miles of Letterkenny. And when I walked into Letterkenny, there was a spit of my brother sitting there, and it makes you realize that genetically, things don't change much in Letterkenny. Genetically, there's a shallow gene pool that I'm from.
Well, you'd be glad to know that George Carlin's family are from Letterkenny as well. So you could,
is that right?
Yeah, you could potentially have a distant relative in one of the most famous comedians of all time.
Well, there you go. And I grew up in the place I was born in Cumbernauld, outside Glasgow. It's renowned as a shite hole. And that's where Craig Ferguson and Lynn Ferguson lived across the road from us. And Stu, who lived up the road, and Kenny Harris lived down the road. And that Cumbernauld area is a hot spot for professional, relatively well-known, or completely unknown, in my case, professional comedians.
Well, you're being harsh on yourself because you got to do something that nobody else, I could imagine, has ever gotten to do. And I was so jealous because I remember it popped up in my timeline about a year ago, being a Dukes of Hazzard fan all my childhood. You got to sing to the actual Dukes of Hazzard. It popped up, just randomly, YouTube timeline popped up. I must have been thinking of it the way Google can actually read your thoughts nowadays. And then all of a sudden this popped up and I went, no! This is when you'd kind of longish hair at the time. And what was funny is one of the Dukes didn't know what way to deal with it. The blonde guy.
Dave Schneider, so the guy, the blonde guy, thought it was hilarious. What's her name?
Daisy Duke.
Daisy Duke. Yeah. I've got it right here. There you go. Daisy Duke. So Catherine Bach, who plays Daisy, who was, you remember with Daisy Duke.
Yeah.
Now, I was raised in this Christian family, and I told you, we used to do at school. We used to do wax candle sales, like a group activity to raise funds. You'd go out and sell candles at Christmas or whatever, and if you sold enough of them, you'd get a prize, like a poster, or if you did really well, you'd get like a pair of shoes or something. I sold enough of these to get a poster, 2 posters, and one of them I got Catherine Bach as Daisy Duke, but I wasn't allowed to put up in my room because it's sinful. So I got JJ from the Kid Dynamite, from Different Strokes, and I put him over top of the Catherine Bach. I put her underneath, and then when my mother didn't know I had both the posters, I'd close the door and I'd roll it up, have a look at Catherine Bach as Daisy Duke. So I was so excited to meet them on the show that I wrote a song, which you can see on YouTube. It's called "Do the Dukes," and it's about being a teenager and realizing that you're gay, and that the reason you actually liked the show is because you liked what's the name?
Owen Luke.
Tom Wopat, John Schneider, who's the blonde guy who I like, and then Tom Wopat. Now Tom Wopat did not know how to take my. I was coming on to him. I think he took it the wrong. I think it was. In fact, they've never had me back on the Graham Norton show, and I think that may have sealed it. But what happened was that Tom, after the show, I felt quite bad because I realized I'd gone too far. So I went up to Tom in the green room and went, "Look, hey Tom, just wanted to say thank you so much. I'm really sorry if I was," because I thought I then started thinking, well, maybe he is gay and he is not out. Maybe he's not openly gay. I don't know. Maybe. No, but I didn't think he was gay, but maybe he was. He's Tom Wopat of the Dukes of Hazzard, and maybe I could just see maybe he took it the wrong way. So I went up and said, "Look, I'm really sorry, Tom. I didn't mean to embarrass you. I hope it's okay." He went, No, it's fine. Here, I want you to have my album. And he gave me an album of jazz covers. Song number 1, "Somewhere Over the Rainbow."
The gayest song ever.
An anthem, but he's not gay. Tom Wopat's not gay. No way. That's not a gay man.
No, clearly not. Clearly not. I'll put it in the show notes.
Oh, sorry. Read this. I just realized it's a podcast, and I'm holding up. I thought I was on Zoom, so I'm holding up the Dukes of Hazzard's DVD with the picture of Tom Wopat on it. But just Google him.
I'll put the link in the show notes underneath this, and people can click through. Like there was just That was one of my more favorite parts. Like you basically said you were going to bang the whole family, including Uncle Jesse.
Yeah.
And then one of your backing singers chimed in and said she was going to do Daisy Duke as well.
Duke. Yeah.
The two, like everybody seemed to get it, bar poor old Tom. He didn't seem to be on board with what was going on at all.
No one seemed to. Tom didn't quite get it, and the look on his face is golden. And because it was a mistake, but I'm the kind of person when I see that someone's not getting something, I try to really drive it home. And then I only watch the footage back and think, and then they go to Graham Norton's face every once in a while, and Graham's looks like smiling but concerned. He's thinking, I think you can see in his eyes, he's willing me to stop picking on Tom Wopat. And of course, that's like red rag to a bull for me, Phil Nichol. Catherine Bach, on the other hand, they were all really nice. They're all really nice people.
She gave you a standing ovation.
She gave me a standing ovation. She was very, very friendly to me in the green room after the show. Very friendly.
Oh.
She was very, very friendly.
Oh.
She was a very friendly woman. Very friendly woman.
Did you tell her the poster story? Your little Shawshank Redemption moment when you were hiding your poster?
I did, and she made she's very she's a very sensitive woman, and she made some comment about not fitting into the shorts. One of my favorites of that story is that the Kirsty Newton, who plays the bass in the band in the song that you'll watch if you watch the video, she dressed as Daisy Duke to play the part in the video, right? So she wore the short shorts, and she's quite buxomy, is my friend Kirsty, and she's married to a comedian friend of mine, Nick. And Nick rang me and went, "This has been the best weekend ever." I was like, "Why?" He went, "Because Kirsty keeps going on and putting on shorter shorts and tighter tops. Going, does this look like it? Does this look like it?" So she kept coming out dressed like Daisy Duke, and I was thinking, yeah. Daisy Duke, she was Daisy Duke and Wonder Woman were the two for me. Maybe Farrah Fawcett, maybe Charlie's Angels. But are you a Charlie's Angels fan?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So tell me this: during lockdown, what have you developed a new skill? Because you're somebody like you sing, you play the guitar, you expose yourself freely in public and on national television. Have you studied any new skills in your time off?
Well, Tom, we're a comedian, English comedian, Carrie Marks, and myself, and a young woman called Katie Story, who's a writer, television comedy writer, and a couple of business partners, a man called Chris Ballard, and a couple of sort of BBC Sky level producers have got together, and we've started a little online video community called The Lost Comics, which you can see on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, you put in The Lost Comics, our video channel will come up. We're curating a group of comedians to make short form comedy videos, 2 a month to go on the channel, with the long range ideas to put it onto a dedicated website, which we're launching in June, in order to put behind sort of a subscription based Patreon style paywall, so that we get people basically doing for comedy what Uber has done for taxis or Airbnb has done for accommodations, taking out the middleman so that the audience can come directly to us and give us the money, and then we can go directly to them with the product afterwards. So my lockdown has really been based on me organizing a website and organizing the tips and the comedians. And Karen and I have been making a little taster show called The Lockdown. If you go to the Lost Comics YouTube channel, and it's a sort of a collection. It's a magazine style show, the collection of all the comedians that are on there. So there's about 58 now, and we're going to be capping it at about 100. We're curating, asking people to join, and teaching them how to use their camera phones and make high quality short form comedy. That's what I've been doing.
That's brilliant. That's class. Yeah. It's definitely something that people are going to, I think, gravitate towards.
I mean, it's been an idea of Chris Ballard's mind for a while. We started the project in August when I met him, and it wasn't until about October that I really started taking it seriously, where we started building this idea. We've already got 300, and it's not stand up. It is comedian, not stand up. They're doing not with a microphone, so it's not live. it's delivered to camera, or it's a sketch, or it's set in a location that's a nice location or something like that. So it just gives you something else visually to stimulate you. So it's an idea that we've been working on for quite a few months, and we developed it quite far at the time the lockdown happened. So it's kind of put a bit of a wrench in the but actually not really. It's a bit more of a hiccup because we're still moving ahead with it, and in fact, it's made us realize how vital online content and online profile will be to comedians now specifically, but also in the future once the lockdown starts to unravel. What we're trying to do is give people a little light relief, a break in their day, have a giggle, and then the money that you're spending on that entertainment is going directly to the comedians.
Yeah, I like the idea that the fact that you can go straight to the comedian. I suppose the likes of Patreon and stuff like that kind of they forge the path. That's brilliant. That's class to know. Do you want to sing a song?
Yeah, I find with Zoom when you play and sing, it takes your voice over the. There you go. What song should I do here?
Can you remember the words to the
do the Dukes?
Yeah.
Do the Dukes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm dialing up because it's available. So my album is available on Bandcamp.com. So if you go to Bandcamp, so again, Bandcamp is the site that people like Daniel Kitt and Dave O'Doherty use because it's a more fair way. It's more of a community effort, and it's a fair way of getting the money. So you can listen to my album for free, or you can buy the album for £5 or send it as a gift. There's 22 tracks of music on there.
Brilliant. And again, I'll put that in the show notes down the bottom. So anybody listening, the beauty that is Phil Nichol, get down there, sling a $5 at it, buy an album, do yourself a favor.
I'll see if I can remember it. Okay, this is the song I sang for the Dukes. Can you hear that? Okay.
Can hear it beautifully.
Oh Jesus. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna get the lyrics up here. Oh my God, I'm just reading it to make me laugh. In a place called Hazard County lived a family called the Dukes. Uncle Jesse and the good old boys we knew as Bo and Luke. Car chases were de rigueur with Roscoe in pursuit. But the only reason I watched the show was cause of Daisy Duke. Daisy Duke, Daisy Duke. I lie awake at night and dream of snogging Daisy Duke. Diddly 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 woo. If Boss Hog had his way, the boys would spend their lives in jail. At the end of every episode, the plot would surely fail. In a clever twist of fate, or in the road was all it took. But I couldn't give a toss, I only watched for Daisy Duke. Daisy Duke, Daisy Duke. I'd lie awake at night and dream of shagging Daisy Duke. Diddly 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 woo. And as I turned 14, a change came over me. I stopped looking at Daisy shorts and generally, as Graham Norton taught me, a nudge was all it took. I stopped dreaming about Daisy and fantasized of Bo and Luke. Bo and Luke, Bo and Luke. I don't know which one is which, but I'm in love with Bo and Luke. Bo and Luke, Bo and Luke. I lie awake at night and dream of shagging Bo and Luke. Daisy Duke, Daisy Duke. I lie awake in bed and dream of shagging Daisy Duke. Bo and Luke, Bo and Luke. I lie awake at night and dream of shagging Bo and Luke and Daisy too. And Uncle Jesse, get on the floor, old man. Who's the granny?
Oh, that has made me so happy. That has made me so happy.
I had a little bit of flubbed a bit at the beginning. It doesn't, does it?
Not at all, because people are going to go to Bandcamp and they're going to buy your album. Phil Nichol, this has made me so chirpy. This has chirped up my whole day.
I am like the fruit pastel of comedy.
Speaking of which, I'm going to head out straight away and get myself a packet of fruit pastels. Till the next time I see you in real life, Phil Nichol, thank you very, very much. This has been gorgeous.
Listen, it's been absolute fun. Thanks so much for having me on. And thank you for... Oh, wow. I'm Irish is what I'm trying to say. Like every North American you've ever met. I'm Irish.
Letterkenny, yes. Phil, thank you so much.
See you, Tom.
My thanks again to Phil. Good on you, Phil. What a lovely man. What a lovely, lovely man. Like I said, the old internet wasn't the greatest for him there, so it broke down a few times and just got a little crackly and the sound wasn't hectic. But look, you can't win them all. We will schedule one for when we get to meet up. Next time he's back over in Ireland, we'll get a proper video up, the whole lot. Do have a look at he's got a bunch of albums. If you go through his website or go to Bandcamp, but I'll put his website up there so you can go have a look at the amount of albums. He's got stuff up there with a group he was with before called Corky and the Juicy Pigs. I mean, who does? You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to get involved there when a band is called that? Like I said, I put the link up of the Dukes of Hazzard clip where your man just totally did not get it. The brilliant awkwardness of that moment. Now, hit subscribe if this is your first time listening. Feel free to sling a couple of dollars. Like they say, if you'd buy a fella a coffee or a pint, one time only, it's great. It helps the podcast no end. Other than that, boys and girls and all between, go on away and have a lovely weekend. God bless.